Right. I woke up in the middle of the night last night, in the middle of not really sleep, but when I rest. And I was just so, I know everyone's heard the saying, something weighing on your mind, or something's heavy on your mind, or something like that. Well, this wasn't just something heavy on my mind. It was like every thought was in my head at one time, and I couldn't think of any one thing. Like my whole mind was nothing but thought. So anything it was directed towards, that encompassed my whole thought. And then anything I took it away from, the thought of what it was left over still encompassed my whole thought. And everywhere I moved my eyes, like, encompassed my whole thought. In every thought I had, I pictured vividly in my mind. If I could think of one more specific thing than another specific thing, and they all just expanded in my mind vision. So because it was like that, I forced myself to sort of sit down and just relax until I went back to out of sleep or out of awakeness. So, and I asked my mind, like, what is that supposed to mean? Like, I know we are all one, and now stuff like this gets confusing when it gets to this higher stuff, and nobody's ever taught this kind of thing. And it's like, it just gave me this knowing, and like a little voice that said, when you wake up, you'll see. When you get up in the morning, you'll see. And I'm like, okay, that's okay. And then all that heavy weighted mind thing just sort of dissipated, and I was just back to normal feeling in my head. So I'm like, okay. So I went to sleep, and then I woke up and I was walking around looking for what it was. I'm like, what am I supposed to be looking for? I don't see anything that I'm looking for. I'm like, okay. And then it's like, well, who am I? And what am I looking for? And I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm like, well, I'll just go through my normal course of what Dan does in the morning. So I just made a cup of coffee or something, and then went back in the back room, and I looked at my phone on the bed, and I'm like, well, maybe I'll just grab my phone and start working on some stuff. And there was a video pop up that was like the New Age masters and the dark side of them. And I'm like, I'm like, something's telling me that's it, but that's just a video. And it was like something that was done like a year ago, but it was popped up on my news feed, and I haven't been looking up anything about gurus because I don't follow anybody. And I'm thinking like, well, this isn't by a guru. This is just by someone named James Janney. And if you really understand what James means, it's J comes from an I, and then you would say am, and then you'd say plural, as in I ams, plural. We even have I am's dog food. I am and James are the same word. And then Jani, that's like the female version of Jenny, like the more spiritual version of Jenny, Jani. Like Ann is, we always talk about Anna and Ann, and An is active nature. Then you have J, which is I, active nature, and it's Jani. So you see what I'm saying? So it's like male, female, met, speaking. So, and that was the first thing on my thing this morning. So I know what signs are, so I looked at it. And it was literally about Bob Proctor and Tony Robbins and Rhonda Burns, and even had Joe Dispenza and Master Shri, who is Eric Ho, and like on and on and on, and all the gurus that people think are gurus. And I have nothing against any of these people that are gurus, because they all think the secret is what you put your mind on. The secret is this, and the secret is that. Do you want money in your life? Do you want loved ones in your life? Do you want the greatest job? Well, I'll tell you the secret. The secret is, in order for you to truly understand spirituality, period, you have to stop worrying about loved ones. You have to stop worrying about money, and you have to start worrying about, or stop worrying about having a job. Your job isn't to make money. Your job isn't to be happy in a relationship. Your job is to see what's going on around you in this world and do something to contribute to it. Not to add to the delusion, add to the crap. That's what you're supposed to do. So even though those millionaire gurus are out there, what are they trying to do? They're helping people by getting rich and saying that it's okay if I'm getting rich. I'm telling other people how to get rich by being greedy. It's not greedy to have everything. Yeah, it sort of is. It's a shaded version of greedy. It's a hidden version of I want everything, and as long as I have so much of it that I can't do anything more with it, I'll give it away to people. That's what that is. Not all of them. They're all wonderful people who want to do something great and help, but they're still stuck because they grew up in a world where money was an issue. They grew up in a world where having status was an issue. Now that it really, really isn't, and it never really has been, and it's coming around and becoming obvious that it's not an issue to have money and status and a job, the New Age gurus, or whatever we call them, the gurus or the self-helps or the masterclass teachers, nothing against them, but they aren't helping. They're keeping us bound to an old way. And if we really want to move forward, we can love them. We can use them as examples and learn something from them. But we have to walk away from the example of needing money, someone else's love, and a job to validate ourselves. That's exactly what that message was last night. And it was heavy because it was all of those people at one time, like Deepak Chopra, Oprah Winfrey, all those kind of things. There's a reason that these people, they're doing great. They're trying really hard, but they're still stuck in the world that has problems. So like I'm saying, they're not bad. The world has problems. The world's not bad. They grew up in the world. So they took some of those bad tendencies along with their good ones that are trying to help cure some of the problems. Well, now I can help people cure all the problems if they just listen. It doesn't mean that other things that they like doing, like having money, are bad. It's just saying that if you want to know what the problem is, you have to get over the fact that this is making you important, and you already are. So these people don't need to teach you anything. You need to learn how important you are and your focus inside you and what that does for your true conscious being. The money, the businesses, the people, the recognition, those won't do anything but do something outside you. And then that outside you gives you an inside feeling. So it's the inside feeling first. That's what everybody has to understand. Even Bob Proctor and Joe Dispenza. Yes, they're doing great and they feel great and they're helping people, and I love them for it. I do. I don't think anything bad about them. I'm just pointing out where the underlined issue is, because people need to know what it is. And there's no secret about it.